another post-cult worldview ride-along. First, you need to know that I am not a sports fan. That's just a little disclaimer at the beginning of this video. That said, I enjoy the Olympics, especially the Summer Olympics. And the thing that really kind of hooked me into it is Michael Phelps back in Beijing, when he swept his events and got all those gold medals and just blew everybody's mind. I'll never forget it. And one of the things that I like about the Olympics is the drama. You're probably laughing at me if you're a sports fan, but what can I say? I'm a people person. So I like watching, all the little bios that they show of what's going on in these people's lives. And with the Olympics, the level of investment that these people have, in time and emotion related to that one event is just staggering. So I find it engrossing, and I like to know what's going on in these people's lives and find myself rooting for them. So this morning I was watching a bio for Michael Phelps, and it talked about his decline after Beijing. I think often when we achieve that level of success, we often become disillusioned and often turn to self-destructive behavior and substance abuse. So that's what happened to Michael Phelps. When he came back for the London Olympics, he did okay, not great. He was not invested like he was for Beijing. And after that, he just started going more and more downhill. He gained weight, he was not taking his career seriously, he wasn't practicing really at all, and he was drinking. And it got to a point where he was, very much an alcoholic and was suicidal, and he got on this, had this traffic incident where he was twice over the legal limit and traveling at high speeds, and ultimately his family intervened and said, "You need help." He went to rehab. And one friend in particular gave him a book. And that book is A Purpose-Driven Life, which is written by Rick Warren. Very popular book, bestseller. And Rick Warren is a evangelical preacher, a fundamentalist Christian. He is against gay marriage, he's against stem cell research, but he's written this book that's been highly motivational and uplifting for a lot of people. And it came to Michael Phelps at just the right time in his life. Now I should say I'm getting all of this from a 10-minute blurb that I watched about Michael Phelps, and a lot of what I'm going to say is going to be speculation, and it's based on very limited information. But that's not really the point. I just want to share with you what thoughts came to mind as I was watching this. So Michael Phelps gets this book, and he's in rehab, and he turns his life around. And this shift in his life makes it possible for him to have better relationships with family members. He's reconciled with his father. He starts a family of his own. He now has a little son, a baby, and he's engaged to be married, and he's in tip-top physical shape. If you look at him, he's just super toned and muscular beyond anything I've seen from him before. And this is at age 31. So although he probably can't compete at the level he did 8 years ago, for 31, he's doing amazing, and he has already won a gold medal. Now, what this brought to mind for me is something that I've been aware of and giving thought to a lot lately, and that's that religion is a technology that we as humans tap into when we are at a dark point in our life. And you can look at religions, all the world religions, and hear stories like this of how people have found God at a time in their life when they were at rock bottom. and it saved them. It rescued them. They turned things around. And I really see that as a beautiful thing. Now, I personally believe that what this technology is doing is allowing people to tap into their own higher self, something deeper inside. So a person has tried to deal with addiction, and it's winning. They can't overcome it. So they have to believe that there's something outside that's going to do it for them. And just that idea of a higher power is enough to get people to overcome that problem. And again, I believe that that is really still coming from them, and I give them all the credit for what they are able to overcome. But they need that technology to make it to actually accomplish it. So I see this video and I'm thinking, that's great. I'm really happy for Michael Phelps that he's able to rise above that self-destructive path that he was on before. I can't help but celebrate it. But then I see him holding his son, this little baby, and I start imagining what's going to happen in the years to come. Michael Phelps believes that the thing that saved him is God, Christ, Christianity. His belief in Christianity is what saved him. And he wants to save his own son from ever having to go through the struggles that he did. Save him from ever having to feel purposeless, from ever being self-destructive. And so he is going to bring up this child in this belief system. And if he's following the path of Rick Warren, it's likely going to be a very fundamentalist belief system. And again, I'm speculating here, but just go with it. So he wants to save this child from having that experience. He thinks he's giving that child the best gift that he can possibly give. He believes that if he can give this child in advance this belief system, this child will have the same good feeling that Michael Phelps himself now has after having gone through this experience and having an awakening of sorts through this technology of Christianity. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Yes, in some cases, people can be born and raised Christian and live happy, fulfilling lives in that belief system without ever questioning or having any type of struggles related to it. But in many cases, what is intended to be a gift to that child, a gift of freedom to that child, ends up being oppression. That is the thing that will oppress that child, and that becomes the thing that that child then has to come out of and rise above. You've created a new problem. What if that child that Michael Phelps is holding ends up realizing later in life that he's gay, and now he has a dad that tells him, you can't be gay if you want to have this freedom that I've experienced. Now you have a conflict, a totally unnecessary conflict between these people. Now this, of course, is amplified majorly by cults. So like Jehovah's Witnesses, when they think they're giving their child a gift by raising them as Jehovah's Witnesses, this is an anchor that's disproportionate to most other belief systems. But I still see religion, even mainstream religion, as a double-edged sword. It serves a purpose for us when we are coming out of suffering in our lives. On the other hand, it can create the suffering that we need to find a way out of. And when we ask our children to have the same path as us, we are likely creating that kind of problem. What do you think? Is religion a double-edged sword? Or is it all good or all bad? What is the answer? Is it possible that we could achieve a kind of progress with this technology that would make it possible to get the best of religion without the negative? You know, a kind of anti-fundamentalist spirituality, a progressive version of Christianity and other faiths that allows us to tap into our higher selves without holding to so many man-made rules that it suppresses our true selves. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember that there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophies.